Hey, am I muted? When you look on the screen now, am I muted?
I can't see us yet.
Oh, okay. All right, fair.
Okay.
All right, bye. That's all.
Hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing? How your mama doing? How your daddy and them doing? Welcome. Welcome, chat. We're about to get started here. I hope y'all are ready. I want y'all to please let's drop some hearts. Let's drop some hearts in the chat. Let's let everybody know we are live. I'm going to play our intro here. Let me say hello to the people, and then we're going to bring up the panel. Hey, Shakima. Hello, Princess Hicks. I haven't seen you in a while, darling. Hey, Velma. Hey, Yolanda. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Melinda. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Angelia. Good evening. So, guys, let folks know we are here. Hey, Miss Debbie. Glad y'all are coming on. Come on in the room. All right, gang. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We have a lot to talk about. So we are going to start the discussion. I'm going to bring up my panel, and there are two women that you are all going to adore. Some of you already know them, and if you don't know them, you're about to, and then you're going to fall in love with them. And we're going to have a grown-up discussion on a lot of different levels about what all of has transpired in the last 24 hours, what it potentially means, okay? What it potentially means. So, hey Chronicles, how you doing, darling? Well, I'm glad that you caught this one, Princess Six, because this is a very important one. So please let people know that we are live and we are ready to go. I am going to go on and play the intro, and when we come back, we will have our panel with us. Here we go. Welcome back, you guys. Thank you so very much. I want to introduce to some and present to others. I almost remember what we used to say in church, y'all. It was close. It was close. Two women that are amazing, intelligent, beautiful, compassionate, fiery, and passionate all at the same time. And they are the co-creators of the YouTube channel Lola Lane. And the link is in the description, but I'm also going to drop it in the chat here today. I want to introduce to you all Ms. Corri Burman and Ms. Lola Lane. How are you guys doing tonight, ladies?
Doing good.
We're doing great. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing on this fine Tuesday?
Yes, it is. It is a fine Tuesday after a very interesting Monday. Yesterday was, I was sitting here last night doing my members Monday live. And just as, we're about to wrap it on up, and then all of a sudden, the phone goes, breaking news, breaking news. I'm like, what is this? Child, I couldn't
Mm,
believe it. I could not believe it.
yeah.
Hey, Diva, how you doing, darling? I'm gonna just see a couple more hellos. Hey, Cricket. Hey, AT2. Hey, y'all. So good to see. Hey, Chocolate Earth. Oh, we gonna have a party tonight. We're gonna let
Oh,
y'all up.
AT2. What's up, AT2? I haven't seen you in a
Yes.
minute.
That's that. Listen, that's my surrogate son over there. That's my
Hey,
other son.
hey.
Cute.
That's my other son over there. Um, so let me know what did you all. We're gonna talk a little bit here, and then I'm gonna drop the link.
Mm.
Can give me your first reaction to the news of the leaked draft. For those of you who do not know yet, what had happened was last night. We all got notification. Politico published the 98-page draft majority. They call it something else besides the decision, but they dropped the draft. And if you know anything about the Supreme Court, there is the majority, decision, and then the dissenting. They write their own paper basically to say why they dissented. And so we got this majority, a draft. Okay, not the final. So they haven't rendered their decision and published it. This is a draft, and it's written by Justice Alioto, and basically detailing in 98 pages why it appears, we think, to be a 5-4 decision, potentially decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, um, thereby removing federal oversight. This is very important. I want everyone to remember this. Removing federal oversight of abortion and abortion rights. Okay. This has never happened. I heard there's maybe one other time this has happened, but basically, it's never happened. And we even have the potentially who leaked it out. So this has sent a shockwave through the entire nation. And honestly, on my live, I didn't even know how to feel about it in that moment. Like, we started talking about this a little bit last night. So I'd like for each of you ladies just to give me an idea of like what was kind of going through your head immediately when you heard this news, either last night or this morning.
I'll let Corey go first.
Okay. For me, it was my son, Chronicles of Anubis, who brought it to me
Mm-hmm.
because it came across his phone. I believe I was watching you. I'm not sure, or I was watching Canelo, and I was dozing. And he said, "Mom, they're trying to do away with Roe v. Wade." And I was like, "Really? No, boy, stop." And then I went to bed, and then I woke up this morning, and YouTube streets were a fire of all kinds of MSNBC and CNN clips about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I personally, I don't want to take any woman's decision away to have agency over her body. And I think they're trying to take us back to the time when we were chattel and could own nothing. And I can't. I can't, because I won't survive. They'll wind up shooting me.
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
because I've been brought up too outspoken to have agency over my body and to make choices for myself in everything that I do, and especially when it comes to my body. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm fired up. I'm calm now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when I texted you earlier, I was not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
so So
Yes,
I've been
ma'am.
talking with Chronicles and Lola all day about this, and it's just, I'm furious. That's all I can say right
Okay.
now. I'm
All
just
right. Okay, that's okay. All right, Miss Lola Lane.
Child, I think Miss Chocolate Earth, one of your subscribers, put it best. I'm fired up. I'm personally fired up. Just a preface. I grew up. All my education has been primary school, high school. I went to Catholic school. They fed us. They try to force feed us this Planned Parenthood is evil, abortion is evil, you know, type of thoughts. And for me, I've always respected the choice of others. Just a quick story. When I was in college, I had met a girl. She was from Brooklyn, first generation to go to college. She was on her way to medical school, found out she was pregnant early on. She decided to go in, have the procedure done. She is now a doctor. She can now stand on her own 2 feet. She does not need to rely on any man. She can have a child or two and fully support them. She does not need to rely on the welfare system, government help. Do you understand what I'm saying? Has she done
Mhm.
it? Because she was pregnant her first year of college. So she was a freshman year in college. She wouldn't, you could barely go to medical school all by yourself. Now imagine having a kid on top of that.
Mhm.
The pressures and the stress of it. For me, I just believe I agree with Corey. It Although I understand there's many people who fall back on religion and they reference it a lot, but at the end of the day, I just personally do not care what your religion is. What is good for you may not be good for everyone else, and you need to respect that people have the right to make their own decision. What I find crazy, Heart of Inspiration, is that Mexico is 99.9% Catholic, and they're the hardcore Catholics. They go to Catholic every daggone Sunday, but they have legalized abortion fully. You can go in. Their Supreme Court legalized it. I believe it was last year. It is fully legalized in that country, and
Mhm.
they are like they are way more religious than we are.
Mhm.
I just find that out. That's crazy to me personally. I find that insane.
Well, they are also organized differently than we are, constitutionally and structurally. So so this is gonna be interesting, you guys. So
Okay.
hear me out. I'm gonna be kind of the middle of the road individual
Okay.
here. What this could potentially mean does not mean it will be illegal.
Mm,
Doesn't mean it'll be illegal.
mm,
It means that the decision back in 1973 that was made as a result of Roe coming in, I think it was Roe, yes. I'm not sure which one now. One coming in and saying, I want to be able to, abort the baby, and then Margaret Sanger, who was the one of the pioneers and one of the founders of Planned Parenthood. There are
correct.
others that are interestingly enough on the board, and maybe we'll get to that, maybe not. Uh, supported it, blah 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 blah, and then we get Roe v. Wade, and it was based on the 14th Amendment, which the 14th Amendment is the amendment added
Mm.
so that we as Blacks, okay, Negroes, would no longer be considered 3/5 of a person. It was so that we would then gain equality as far as our personage. Now, I'm not talking about the realities and the race and all of that. I'm just talking on the constitutional books, okay?
I
That
got you.
constitutionally, that's what that was designed for. The verbiage in don't be in here barking. Sorry, Apollo the dog. The interestingly enough, the wording of Roe v. Wade from a pure constitutional point of view does not withstand a 14th Amendment basis. Okay. So even should this be, and this is a draft. Okay. So this was draft for those that think this was done like quick, fast, and in a hurry, though. This draft
Mm,
was actually written back in February. It's been floating around the halls of the Supreme Court since February. So
Mm.
this isn't they just wrote this yesterday. Okay.
no.
I think the leaking of it is very strategic to cause us to do exactly what we're doing. What then constitutionally happens though is and how this country was created was we are a federation of nation states that decided to come together in a union to form a union, and the federal government was never meant to impose as much as it does in on each state. So it will revert back to each state.
Right.
That has its
So it'd
own
be up to
implications.
it's up to every state's discretion whether or not. It's kind of like with the weed situation, how some states had it legal and some did not.
That
kind
is
of what you're trying to
correct.
say?
And
Mhm.
actually, if you go into, and you can go right now on politico.com, I've been perusing and kind of going through the 98 page document. If you go through the document, what's interesting is at the time of Roe v. Wade, almost all, if not all 50 states at that point in time, it wasn't legal.
Okay.
In the vast majority, abortion was not legal, or it was something rare or something. It was only legal in certain instances, aka some form of violation. Okay. Some form of violation. And then at some point it swung all the way. Some of you all might be old enough to remember when women were allowed to get abortions all the way up to 6 to 6.5 months.
Okay.
Whole nother topic.
Right.
So, and there are legalities and this and that in different states all across. It will quickly become illegal. That is true. There are triggers in a lot of state constitutions that if this was right, X'd out, it would automatically make it illegal. And in the case of the mother's life, that is correct. Okay.
I just feel like my concern is, like, let's say you're in one of these states where it would automatically become illegal, right? And one could say, well, you could move to a state where it is legal. But a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people, especially with the pandemic and everything we've been to, they can't afford to pay rent, let alone pick up and go. So my concern would be to those people who would find themselves in a situation where they would need one, not being able to get one.
Understood. And I don't think, a lot of people are saying, move, go across state lines. To me, is that plausible? Even if you are mobile, that's a lot to really consider.
Right.
At that moment. I want to also look at, because I want us to look at this, yes, but please, let's also keep in the back of our heads, everyone, even in the chat, this is has strategically been dropped on us at this moment.
Okay.
Because if the Supreme Court was ready to pull the trigger on this particular case in this particular moment in time, they could have done it. They've had it now for they've had it for 60 days, almost 90 days sitting around.
You're right.
So the fact that it was reportedly from the Supreme Court themselves, my understanding, reportedly it was one of Sotomayor's clerks that leaked this document at a time when I'm sure all of you have heard that, the polling and the midterms and blah, 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 blah. I don't want us as women, first of all, to get used in a way that then makes us take our eye off the fact that it's costing us a heck of a lot more to feed our families, put gas in our car. Everything is costing a lot more. I don't want us, and we're still sending aid everywhere around the goddamn world. We can't take care of our own. So I want us to pay attention to that, because we have to also understand, I was talking about this earlier, astrologically, in the energies. We got to pay attention to the ulterior motives behind this attack. Now the attack is coming on who? It's coming towards women, and it's coming towards motherhood, and it's coming towards our feminine procreation abilities, capabilities, choices, and whatnot. So let's not miss the fact that I don't want us to get manipulated and lost in the sauce, because they know they can trigger us with that emotion.
No, you're right. You're right. And
Yep.
to something you said that was very valid, that you said about giving aid all around the world, and meanwhile, look at us over here. Someone on Twitter pointed out yesterday, and I felt like this was great. They pointed out the fact that in Philly, there's a Kensington area in North Philly. I'm from Philly originally, and they call it Zombie Land because it's so no businesses are open. It's just a whole bunch of people under the influences of drugs. Drugs are being transported there and stuff like that. And it's like we could use the money to clean up that area, get these people help, whatever needs to be done. I mean, I didn't, I'm not a politician. I don't exactly know what to do A to Z, but we could use the money to fix areas like Skid Row in LA.
Yeah.
Like, when are we going to get the emergency funding? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Now, what's also interesting, and I'm seeing everybody, we're going to open this up. I see people saying vote. Absolutely. But I want you to vote locally.
Exactly.
Chocolate
Right.
Earth, I'm going to bring Chocolate Earth up here and we're going to have it because she and I were talking about just this the other day. I need you to vote locally. You live in a miniature country. Each of our states are miniature countries. You don't have that anywhere else in the world.
You don't. It's true.
So get involved in your local governor races, and your we I don't know, we call them something different here. Mayors, your any boards, your school, especially your darn school boards. Y'all need to be paying attention to what your babies are learning. So get involved at the local level, because to be honest with y'all, you all got to think about the fact that too much federal involvement always will come back to bite you in the butt, depending upon who's involved federally. Okay?
Yeah.
Federally. Now, Chi-Town, baby, Naja girl, they're not going to deny us birth control. That's what I don't want us to get off into. Birth control has never been something that's been illegal in the United States of America as it was created. Okay? Correct. It was never illegal. So the birth control is there, and at the very, very least, and you probably should be using it anyway. There's always going to the latex that's behind the counter at the Walgreens or the CVS.
Not the latex, child.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep it somewhat family friendly on a conversation we having about this.
I get you. But you know what's funny? Birthing rates are low right now. Less women are giving birth right now.
Thank you for saying that. Less women are giving birth right now. Less American women are giving birth right now. The statistics, and I want us to now again, my Caucasian sisters, do not get offended when I'm saying this.
Oh, snap.
Okay. If we all gonna be allies in this, let's all be allies and hear us out. Okay. The last statistic I've seen is we're looking at upwards of 50 million melanated babies. 50 million that have been aborted. And I am not sitting here on my high horse, because I will be the first one to be transparent to say I have had one.
Me too.
So that's why this is a real difficult discussion for me.
Yeah.
Because I have had one.
Right.
And I had already had children by the time I
decided to do that. Yeah.
I left college after getting pregnant with my oldest child. Senior year, left college. Because at that point in time in my life, I couldn't. That was my choice. It was my choice. Now, however, I also want us to recognize that, and that means statistically, percentage-wise, we make up 13% of the population, and it's dropping and dwindling for various reasons. So think about that. We have a disproportionately high rate, right, of pregnancy terminations. And it was designed for that. If you all look up Margaret Sanger, I started quoting some of her information before. I've got to look at the history of this, because we got to look at everything in front of
Yeah,
us before we decide where to go in the future.
you're right.
Exactly.
If this was already designed in the eugenics world to stop our reproduction,
Mm.
maybe we need to be looking at this
Mm-hmm.
a little bit different.
Exactly.
That's all I'm trying to say. I want us to look at this a little bit differently. Welcome everybody to the chat as you come on in. Welcome, welcome. Come on in the room. So we having a grown-up discussion here. Okay, we laying it all out on the line. And so we just want to talk about what has occurred, what are the real ramifications of what could happen after this, if this even now gets finalized, because now the cat's out the bag. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about us pressuring the high court like this, but that's a whole nother story for another day.
Correct.
So, but I want us to look at the history of this organization. So while,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe, we were told, oh, Planned Parenthood is evil and this, that, and the other. Well, maybe to us, it kind of is.
Mm. I mean, I think that's a very valid argument that you're making right now, because, for example, my parents, they're Latinos, and I'm first generation American. So, but from what I've understood and what I've read is that Margaret Sanger targeted Black communities to
Yes, she
place
did.
the Planned Parenthood locations. So where I can be sitting here as a first generation American and looking at these abortion clinics like a necessary place that you can go and not only get an abortion but also get mammograms and different important um, things that women need, birth control and stuff like that. I can see that there could be a dark history for African Americans and the relation to what Margaret Sanger tried to do, which was genocide, for
Yeah,
lack of a
she
better
flat
term.
out said we needed to die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She flat out said we were ill-equipped. We were not worthy of life. We were not worthy. We were not of the highest Nordic, what have you, so on and so forth. Okay.
May she rot in hell. Sorry, I don't mean to bring
She
that.
probably is, or wherever hell may or may not be. Maybe,
Yeah.
the universe, goddess will see fit to have her come back as a Black person. I think that would be perfect karma. Well, I don't know about y'all,
Lord.
but
Yeah,
if you're
that
gonna
would be
do it
perfect karma.
again, come
Mm-hmm.
back as a Black woman, baby. I'm waiting on you. But not only her, but there were a number of doctors, and in fact, believe it or not, y'all, this is not conspiracy. Bill Gates' father, eugenics, was on the board, the initial board of Planned Parenthood.
Hmm.
Mm. You know who else believes in you?
Well,
You know what's funny? You know who else believes in eugenics? Clarence Thomas.
I've never heard Clarence Thomas. You got to give me a receipt.
I heard this morning on I want to say MSNBC.
Okay, now I really
Um,
need a receipt, because they lies and the truth ain't in their ass.
and
Now I'm
he
sorry. It's after 7:00 here. I can cuss.
Right.
I'm really gonna need a real receipt
Oh, okay. I,
o-
I'm
on
not,
that one.
and they were just saying that it was they mentioned that he was in belief of the
Hey,
eugenics,
Cricket.
a cricket, and that he is definitely one of the main contributors to this draft decision on abortion, repealing vote Roe v. Wade, and not to mention that his wife Jenny is also one of those fanatical January 6 people. So
Girl, we're not
there's
gonna
a
go there, because
lot.
I have a very different point of view on that. Because we holler about that damn January 6th, but we didn't holler not one damn time about how they was tearing up our neighborhoods and killing our kids. I'm not killing our men and tearing up our businesses. But all of a sudden, everyone to get all upset because somebody walked between a couple of ropes. Y'all can miss me with that, because them people came and tore up our stuff and went back home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
At least they tearing up their own
that's
stuff.
the real problem. We get hyped up over some stuff, and I'm like, damn, what about what's going on over here? These people work their lives for these businesses, and these folks
Yeah.
came in all Black. and they wasn't black and tore up our
Exactly.
Yep.
stuff.
Exactly.
No, that's true. I saw videos of them. I saw videos
Exactly. But
in
yet they
all
want to
black.
put it on us.
And they
Yeah,
handed
that's
us the bricks. Our mamas are sitting there going, "You're not gonna hand my son a brick. You're not gonna hand my son a Molotov cocktail. You're not gonna sit here and do this to my child."
right.
Okay, so child, let me get back. Let me get back. I'm getting heated.
Okay.
There's one of your subscribers, Sharon. She said that why is it that some people only care about kids until they're born? I will say there's a lot of kids in the foster system, and it takes a
Yes.
lot of money to care for these kids. I feel like if for I'm saying for these Republican states that want to abolish abortion, I think you need to compensate for that, right? I'm playing devil's advocate right there, right now. If you do want to do that, there needs to be, if I decide, right, someone who lives in a southern state who wants to get an abortion because I know dang well that I cannot afford to take care of myself, let alone another child,
Right.
how are you going to help me then? If you're saying I cannot have an abortion, what are you going to do to help me once the child's here? That's my question, because we can't have it both ways.
I'm with you. Listen, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I was right there, arm in arm, or went up to, not arm in arm, because I didn't believe in all the protesting and shaming somebody for making a decision they needed to make.
Correct.
But I'm with them and saying, well, what y'all finna do? You
Right.
know, I had this baby, y'all finna, or she had this baby, y'all gonna be first in line to take care of it. And can I
Are we
tell
going to
you
chase these
something?
deadbeat fathers?
Let me
Are
tell
we
you,
going to chase these?
child, that's not it, girl.
Child, we're not gonna
We
talk
not
about
gonna get
daddies.
with the daddies right
It
now,
takes,
because otherwise
it takes, listen, it takes two to make a baby though. It's 50%
it
mine,
does.
50% his.
Yeah, I'm really confused.
It does take two. But it's, as a woman who has sought to become a foster parent, do you know how
Yes, ma'am.
difficult it was?
Very.
bet.
And I never did get the opportunity
But
to. They made me run through so many hoops.
has sought to become a foster parent.
Okay, somebody's
You
got
know,
me.
ooh.
Gotta meet me in the
I think
back.
chocolate earth. I think chocolate earth.
Okay, I'm gonna let her
Okay.
mute me. Hey Diva, hey Chronicles, hey
Diva.
Chocolate Earth. How y'all doing? Welcome. Okay, we've had a whole lot to say. There's a whole lot of going on around here.
Child.
All right, Miss Diva.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna give you the floor, darling.
This is such a heavy emotional conversation, right? But we do need to have these conversations, and it like folds into so many different levels. And I will say this, I understand both sides. People should have the right to do what they want to do, and we shouldn't take away that right. But I understand the flip side. There's a lot of emotional baggage that happens after a female. I'm a pediatric nurse. I still call myself that. I no longer work in a hospital, but there's a lot of emotional baggage that is attached that people don't talk about when someone goes and they have this abortion.
Yep.
And so there's a bigger price to pay than just, okay, well, who's going to help take care of this baby if I have it? But who's going to deal with the emotional baggage that is left behind when this woman has this abortion? A lot of them are left with a lot of guilt. A lot of them, some of them even have just a dream, because it's like at some point, even if you don't know, there's some attachment to you and that baby that you're carrying inside. And then we have some people that after one, they use it as a form of birth control. And then it becomes two, it becomes three, it becomes four, and the destroying of your body. There's so many conversations we can have about that. And there needs to be more education about prevention, just like we teach in the hospital. You know what? Prevent diabetes, prevent getting a heart attack, prevent getting pregnant. And then we won't have to, be so concerned about the abortion piece of it, right? So do I think, though, regardless of how I feel, do I think they should take away someone's right? Absolutely not. I can't remember the name of that movie. It still is etched in my mind to this day. It was on HBO. I was younger. It was many, many years ago. I'm gonna say this almost decades ago. I just remember Demi Moore was one of the
Oh
characters.
yeah.
Do you remember what movie I'm talking
Yes.
about, Corey?
oh God, something about a house. These walls, if these walls
Yes,
could
yes,
talk.
yes.
Yes.
Corey, you be remembering the stuff. If these
Yep.
walls could talk. It was all about abortion. When I think about that movie, and the one woman had to go and they used a coat hanger
Yes.
to take the baby out of her because it
Yep.
wasn't legal. And it just like I never forgot that movie. And I don't want life to revert back to those particular situations
Right.
where people are going to extremes because they don't have the resources and they don't know what to do. And
Yep.
see, the other piece of this is that every pregnancy was not as a result of someone just wanting to have sexual relations with someone else. There's rape involved. There's incest involved. There's so
Yep.
many different scenarios where as to why this baby, the person doesn't want to give life to this baby. And there's no judgment from my side either way. But
Right.
I'm saying don't take away the person's right.
Yeah.
I'm not a proponent of just because it's going to stop your life, but this is just me. I'm not a proponent of, oh, the only reason why you're doing it is because you won't be able to continue on in college, or you won't be able to do this, or you won't be able to do that. I just feel like it shouldn't be used as a form of birth control.
Right.
It should be utilized in the way where, maybe it's an extreme case, because imagine someone being the R thing, and I'm sorry if I actually said it before, but imagine someone being the R thing and then they get pregnant as a result of that, and then now you got to end up having that child. So it's just so many layers to this. And do I think they leaked this on purpose? Absolutely. They're always playing mind games with us,
Absolutely.
to change the narrative to where they want it to be. And is it possible that they leaked it so that a vote can be changed on this? It is a possibility, so that it could work everybody up. But there's so many things that need to be corrected in the world. And I think, and I'll say this one last thing, and let someone else speak. The thing with our community, I'll speak about the Black community for a minute. There's so many things that need to be healed within our community. It's so easy when someone wants to plant something or do something for us to
Amen.
fall for it, because there's so much healing that needs to take place. And we can only heal each other one moment at a time. But
Yeah.
our mind, and the thing is, our minds the chains are off of us, but our minds are still enslaved.
Amen. Amen. And I think someone talked about that a little bit earlier too. Like, like some of the same people that may want to take away this or rescind this, repeal it, also want to take away social programs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes, though, now this is be a hot take. Y'all might not
Oh, I
like my
already know
black
what you're gonna
behind now.
say. I know what you're gonna say.
Let me tell you something. I have seen too much where social programs have ended up becoming our new
Crutches.
chains.
Yeah,
Yes,
crutches.
Our
ma'am.
new slavery. I have watched women that actually did go on here. I'm in Wisconsin. So a while back, there was like welfare to work, right? So they paid for your school, they paid for your education, they paid for your daycare, still gave you everything while you were going to school. Then when you got out of school, this was the racket. This was the racket. Then you get out of school, the place that hires you got fat money. When I tell you they were paying, I was privy to this because of my position in these companies. They were paying up to 30% of this individual's salary. A lot of these companies that were not reputable or not integral were pocketed most of that money, paying these women less than what they should have been getting in like with a graphic arts degree or certificate or something. And then what happens almost immediately, they rip out, oh, well, you could pay for your own child care now, and you could pay for this, you could pay for that. So you end up making it's easier in the short term, right? You have everything ripped off from underneath you, and at some point, then it almost became pointless for these people to work. That's not in every case, but I'm just saying that what happens is our generation after generation after generation that is stuck in these entitlement programs that were never meant to be generational wealth. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole nother level of healing.
Yes,
Because
it
we got
is.
urban plantations now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
You
become
know?
lifers. They become lifers of
Yes.
Section
No,
8.
that makes complete
Go ahead.
generational. I feel as if I completely agree with you. I feel like if you don't have the pressure and that hunger, it's kind of like my parents coming here as immigrants. They had no crush back in their homes. That's why they left. So when they got here, they knew ain't nobody gonna help you out. You need to work however many hours it takes, however long it takes until you make something, start a business, do something, because that's all there is. Because over there, if you got no money, you don't eat. There is no welfare program.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have no other choice but to make it or die.
And that maybe, and maybe that's not the complete situation, solution. But I'm saying that this is a very multi-layered proposition that we're talking about here. Because on one hand, I'm sitting here looking at how many of our babies, and I'm not trying to hear that from the moment of conception, somehow what has been conceived in your womb is going to turn out to be a dog. It is always going to be a human. Now that's just science. I can't disagree with the science.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And also part of Roe v. Wade, and then I'm gonna let Chronicles speak next. Also part of Roe v. Wade was, or part of the Margaret Sanger's concepts in this was that there was not an ability, if there was not an ability for the child to live independently outside the womb, that was the test, that then up until that point you could perform the abortion. Well, if independent life is the litmus test for whether or not you should live, what do we do with the living that cannot live independently?
Exactly.
That's eugenics. Okay? That's eugenics. So I'm not trying to say one way or the other. I'm saying there definitely should be exceptions.
Right.
Right? Definitely should be exceptions. Because when that happened to me, had I gotten with child, right?
Yeah.
So, there has to be exceptions. This is tough, but again, it should not be a way of life. I think that's I think Diva and I agree with each other definitely on that. It shouldn't be a way of life. It shouldn't be a way of life. Okay, Chronicles, and I'm going through these chats. You guys are really
fired up.
Thank you for being respectful to one another. First of all, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being very respectful. We're having a good, healthy debate in the chat as well. Chronicles, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah. I know I'm a man and I have no right to say anything, but I can't. It's just the fact that they want to repeal something that could possibly save millions of women's lives. It sickens me to my core.
I understand.
Sorry.
No, you're passionate. Here's the thing, though. It's not saying federally everywhere that it's going to be illegal. Right. And I think this is why we got to really pay attention to our local governments.
Right.
So if your government and your legislature, you know what I'm saying, is not going to go the route that you wish for them to go, then it's time for you to get them out.
Amen.
You make the right decisions, run for office yourself, do what you got to do. But we need to be paying we should have already been, but this is done now. We're getting back to what the Constitution is, and it is a federation of states that have chosen to come together and be a unit. But go ahead, dear sir.
See, I have a female cousin who's in college.
Mm-hmm.
I worry about her every single day because anything can happen to her. She can be R-worded or A-worded and if they make, and this is just the first step. If they make all abortions illegal, she can't get the help that she needs, and she would have to live with a reminder of that, of the person who would do this to her every single day. I don't think anyone has. I don't think they have the slightest notion of the toll that would take on her, or any woman for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It scares me to my core to think and see how far our degradation has progressed over the years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Seen this before in the civilization, so developed so fast.
Yes.
This is one step closer to ruination.
Well, I
Can
think
I
by having, go ahead, honey. Go ahead, Lola.
can I ask you a quick question, Heart of Inspiration?
Absolutely.
Or maybe Diva, you can answer this since you're a nurse as well. Maybe I know you don't work in that area, but maybe you know something about it. When a woman does go in to get an abortion, is she offered counseling after the fact, or do you feel like there is not, the aftercare has not been developed enough to kind of deal with the emotional? See, then that's an issue there too. Where is the aftercare?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm with Diva earlier when she said it shouldn't be used as a form of birth control. No, absolutely not. It should be used as a last resort. You know what I'm saying? Birth control should be your day one, thing. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it is the decision of the individual. And I feel like we have to trust one another as adults to make the best decision that's right for us. But I feel like the theme has been, and I've heard this everywhere this year, is mental health. We need to make sure that mental health. I mean, I live in New York. Diva lives close to New York. I know that for a fact. You know all the crazies that run around New York, Diva. There is a huge issue with mental health help in this country. And we need to make sure that we are funding. We can help our allies, that's fine, but we need to fund ourselves here at home first and make sure that those sisters of ours that need to make that hard decision are getting the aftercare that they need, and they're able to speak to someone and deal with the emotional trauma of it, because it is a trauma.
It is a trauma. Here's the thing. There's some procedures in this world that we have made it become like, going to the store and getting a bottle of water or getting some soda, whatever. All of the people with the mommy makeovers, the butt, the implants, the injections, the this and that. So it's kind of like what happened, unfortunately, with abortion, right? It's like people don't think anything of it, really. It's almost like it's not a big deal. This is not what I want at the moment, so I'm going to go and let this happen. But a lot of people, they don't realize, and the thing with mental health is a lot of them don't even realize what is going on, right? They're thinking like, I don't know why I'm sad, or I don't know why I do this, or I don't know why I do that. And then it's not until they sit down with a counselor and they backtrack to all of this trauma and what they have done, where they realize, okay, it's a residual effect of this thing that I did way back when and never dealt with it. So no, there's no counselor, because a lot of these clinics, they're just that. They're clinics. Okay, this is what you want to do. Sign your name right here. We're going to take your blood work. You come back on this day. We do it. We see you later. You come back for your checkup, and then off you go into the world and you back in your life.
That's my thing. It's kind of like postpartum, right? Postpartum depression. We finally getting serious about it. We're finally getting women counseling for that. Like, just like we're referring women, because you could get depression after having a baby. Ironically, that's
absolutely.
You can have it before too. But what I'm saying is the difference is there's certain things that are looked at differently. That is that people are almost looking at that as a form of birth control. All right, that's what you did. You did it. That's it. Bye. See you later. So it's different than you having a baby, and they know all the impacts of you having a baby now, right? But there are no studies done on what happens to you. What's the aftermath after you have this abortion? So there has been studies done on what may happen to you after you have a baby. only because people started to talk about it. Like, I feel sad, like, what is going on? And it took a while for the world to come around to that, because when you the thing was, you had a baby, you should be so happy, you got this bundle of joy here. And it wasn't until enough people was like, I'm sad and I don't know why. And they would started to do things to the baby once the baby was here in themselves, that the research started to happen. So there is no research on this. One of it is to tab back on what Heart of Inspiration was saying, is that, you know, it's kind of like they don't care, because the majority of the people that are doing it are people that they don't care about anyway. So why we don't care that you taking your baby out, and in addition to us not caring, we don't care what happens to you and how you feel after taking your baby out, and we don't care if you can't have no child after you done had 5, 6, or 7, or 8 of them. So and people, and then we personally take it personal to say, I'm gonna do my body what I want. But the thing you have to understand is, what you do to your body now matters later. Because maybe later, when you get your life together and you want to get married, and now you want to have these kids, you're having trouble and you need infertility and this, that, and the other, because you went to some clinic to have that thing done and they ripped it out of you because they didn't give a crap about you when you walked through the door. So when you if you are going to make this choice to not have the baby and to have the abortion, the best thing to do would be to go to a regular OBGYN. Get that thing done in a hospital, because at these clinics, they don't care who does it. They don't care. You don't really have to be certified in this, that, and the other, because I'm just snatching that baby. I hate to be so graphic, but y'all feel what I'm saying. I'm going to snatch that baby out of you. And listen, good luck to you later on. If your body parts don't work after it, not my problem, not my circus. So
but for me, I feel like that's a lack in our medical system, because if we're going to perform abortion, it needs to be done correctly every single time. There should be no extreme ramification as the ones you're speaking. Also, I feel like more women would come forward about the depression and their sadness if they did not feel like they were going to be shamed for having an abortion in the first place.
Well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's just like, either you looked at, and let's just keep it a bean. Let's keep it a buck, because we melanated women up here.
Yes,
we looked at like crazy people if we have a bunch of kids. And then we look down upon if we don't have one of them.
Yeah, but I was told, you know what's funny, Heart of Inspiration? I'm almost 30, and I was told, what the hell is wrong with me that I don't have a kid yet? Literally, someone told me, what the hell is wrong with me because I don't have a kid yet. So you're right. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
It's the problem. You know, Nicki Minaj, we have a problem here. Yeah, we do. Every time we turn on, we can't win for losing. Okay.
Exactly.
So
and if we
gotta
did
take
have
care of us.
Yeah. And if we did have more than one baby father, then that's an issue too.
Oh yeah, because I gotta explain every time. Yes, I have two. I was married to the first one. That didn't work out, and then I was in a long-term relationship with the second one. Thank God. You know, if I had had 3 child, I'd have been a hooker, a whore, a slut, a hoe.
All of the above.
What I'm saying? Come on now.
People gotta learn to mind their own damn business at the end of the day. If you got
that's another show. That's another show.
Exactly.
Chocolate Earth. We have not heard from you yet, beloved. Are you with us?
Hello.
Yes. Oh, Chocolate Earth.
Wait. Not heard from you yet, beloved.
I think you're on mute.
I think she unmuted. Can you mute?
Can you hear me?
You're on mute.
I
you
can.
Have to turn down the show
I turned your I muted you just for a second. So can you mute either mute the tab that the YouTube is playing on, or maybe turn down the speaker so that we don't get the feedback? I'm not sure which one needs to happen.
You gotta make sure she can. Hello?
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Perfect.
Yay.
Come on, jump in, beloved. Come on.
I'm having technical problems. Give me just a second.
Okay.
We can hear you good though.
Okay, and let me just address this. Media, I love the fact that you're here. Thank you, Medea. I love the fact that you're here, beloved. But when we're just talking about, we have to have this discussion, right? These are some realities that we deal with. Maybe in your area, in your culture, and whatever, in your world, these are not things that you deal with. It may feel like it doesn't mean anything. It's abusive, and so you just say, "Oh, well, just forget about it." See, that's how we got in this problem, because people for too long, I'm just gonna say it plain. As a Black woman, I'm tired of everybody telling me to shut up and just deal with it.
Who told you to shut
Amen.
up?
No, I'm just not. No, I'm saying in general. She ain't telling me to shut up because she went in. No, we don't disrespect here. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm tired of that. And I'm tired of us telling each other as women, I don't care what color you are, as women, that
Correct.
we should just suck it up and deal with. These are real problems. Maybe
Mhm.
it's not yours, and I can understand that, and I'm happy for you. But these are real things that we got to talk about. Okay.
Amen.
So it is not simply, in a lot of cases, it's not simply as black and white as convenience either. Please do not think that it's a decision that does not get weighed heavily and does not weigh on one's heart. For most of us, there are some people I have met that it's just as easy, as going and changing your drawers tomorrow. Now that's kind of sociopathic in my estimation. That's my humble opinion.
I agree.
Let
But
me
it's not just that easy, and I think people think that it's such an easy thing to do.
paint a picture here. A young, smart 16-year-old girl, salutatorian in her high school class, have offers from Rutgers and some other Ivy League schools, and she finds herself pregnant. And she's worried about disappointing her mom, her family, and all the people who believe in her. And she decides, I'm going to do this. This is a first boyfriend. He claimed he loved me, and this is what happened. You go down to Planned Parenthood. You decide that's what you're going to do. You two go down there. You make that decision. You sign the paper, and then you go down there. The one saving grace for me for that day was a nurse. I'm not going to say her name. She was a woman of color, and she was very encouraging and motherly. And she told me, I never want to see you back here. This is your one and only mistake that you have made. Now you go out in the world, you make good of what you're supposed to be doing. Your grades are good. You go out there and you make something of yourself. I never returned to Planned Parenthood. I never returned. And that kind of eased my depression afterwards, knowing that one person didn't think it was shameful for me to do what I needed to do so I can graduate and go to college.
Wow.
The depression was very hard afterwards. It was very hard. I was depressed for the entire summer. I lost so much weight, and I'm about 5'7.5", so I'm very tall. So imagine that. I'm a size 0 going back to school when I was a little meatier than that. And then they bring it up in a classroom discussion, and I break down and I bolt from the classroom.
Yeah.
So it's just like this is why this is so hard for me, because I don't ever want to have one ever again. But I don't be the cause of someone else never having one, if that's what they so choose and need to do. And that's what's so wrong about this whole situation. We just can't take away people's right to choose. Of course, some will use it as birth control, some will not. That's with everything in the world. But we still should have that choice.
But with the choice is not getting, I think the problem is we've gotten so far away from the Constitution and how we were created as a country. We're so far away from it. There's so many things that the federal government, I'm a very minimalist, if you can't tell, when it comes to federal government involvement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's just been too much.
Yeah.
If the wind blows a certain way, then it could go to, you know what I'm saying? And it's too much left up to people that don't give a damn about what we're doing here. I'm gonna get off that soapbox. Okay.
Chocolate.
Medea, why are you disagreeing? Medea, if you want to,
I'm
if you
here.
have much to say, and I'm not trying to be funny and I'm not trying to be disrespectful at this moment, but this is my house. So if you're this hot, I need you to click the link.
Mm-hmm. Come up and join the discussion.
You're making and I appreciate your disagreement. But as if you were here earlier, I've tried to be a foster parent. And it's extremely difficult. If you want to be an African American or a Black woman, however you want to say, a person of color and adopt, you gotta go through 50 million damn hopes.
Yep.
Child.
More so than the next one. Or the bar is so high. So I'm not trying to hear it. So
I know that's right.
If you're gonna adopt every baby, drop your link and we'll go on and give them to you.
Wait,
I don't mean to disrespect, but that's not an argument. I'm tired of that being the argument. Chocolate Earth, please, beloved, come on, let's hear you.
I'm here. Hey, ladies. Hey.
Hey, Chocolate. Hey, Chocolate.
Woo! So, hello to everyone. Many blessings. I'm happy to be here again. Thank you, Heart. I appreciate it. To all the ladies, I appreciate us having this conversation. I do hope everybody understands my eyesight into this. Insight, sorry. So I to the point of what's happening now, it's like this. When I saw it last night, and because I don't sleep. So when I saw it, I looked at my sister and I was like, do you know what they're trying to do? And the argument that I don't hear as much, and we're still doing that, we're blaming each other. We're trying to qualify what men in government. There's not women that are the majority of the Supreme Court. It never has been that way. We have fundamentalists who started this country, and after generation, here we are. Now, my thought process is this. I've never had to go through that. And I don't know what I would do if I had to. But I've gone with my friends. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, not because they made that choice. Their boyfriends should have been there, not me. And we have not talked about how, one, Black people don't talk about sex.
Nope.
You want to tell me I'm fast. You want to tell me I'm a loose woman. Listen here, I don't control what no man's eyes see.
Okay. Yes, break out the fan. Break out the fan.
Come on, because I'm about to tell you something now. My mother and I had this conversation. My mom was 19 years old, going to Ohio State. She met my creep dad. And that's just my personal. Don't worry about it. Every daddy ain't creep. We know this. I got this, so you can close all that up. She had to drop out of school. She had to go back to my mother's house, my grandmother's house. She had to get on welfare. She had to do these particular things because my father was not there to support it. And in that conversation, she said to me, I did think about having an abortion. And my mother and I had a very unique relationship. I'm thankful for it. She was very open because before she was my mama, she was a woman. So it's like in this country, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for solutions. The solution is building our own community. Now, I'm not talking about we're going to do Noah's Ark, but it is time for us to get involved in local politics.
Amen.
We need to get involved in state politics. Once we take that over, then we have more leverage with the government. Because no matter what happens, women of color will suffer the most.
I agree.
This started after the census came out. Their women are not having their children.
Yep.
We're not either, though.
But yeah, this is where I'm going with it.
Oh, okay.
Within our community, the majority of us are raised in church. It has always been an issue of that. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. But the person that should be held accountable is men, not me. I don't control getting pregnant. I don't control you trying to talk me into no condom. I am not in control of the thought that you as a man can walk away. And I am left with a decision to either keep this child we've created or, due to your point, Hart, the expensive choices we have to make when we have children in this day and age. This ain't the 1850s. You can't, this ain't the 1950s where men were socially made to take care of your responsibility.
Right.
That's what it was called, your responsibility.
Yeah.
I feel like until we start talking in a way that goes like this, if I'm a woman, and I'm not, because we always go extreme with the girls. There are many women who are on their second, third baby. They may be married, boyfriends, whatever, and you cannot afford. They have made it so expensive for you to even rear a child properly. Not just, oh, well, I feed you, I clothe you, and I send you to school. That's not enough. And then we as a community, we don't have any programs. We haven't created anything for women, young women to come and have a safe space and go, listen, I don't know if I'm gonna have this baby. No, we judge each other. We sit on our high horses and we judge. I don't care if you use it as a form of birth control. That's your business. That's between you and your spirit. But it's enough that we've got enough young women out here working 2-3 jobs, taking care of these kids, but they lazy, or the father is not in the picture.
Right.
There is no push for male birth control. That's what I say.
Well,
we need to advocate. Well, it is, but then how is it? You know how we get our information in the community. So it's like it even though it's been there or it is being created, it is not being discussed among Black people, Black men or women. So that is, yeah.
Okay. 1 second. Let me read the super chat. So I'm sorry, Kellyanna, because everything's got heated and discombobulated. And thank you very much for the super chat. Kellyanna says, I am so happy you mentioned the true history of abortion and Margaret Sanger. Also, let's not forget all the money that Planned Parenthood was making off of fetal tissue. And there has been reports of that.
Yeah.
I actually know a bit about that. I was a pre-med and they do use stem cells. So they acquire stem cells. You can also get them from umbilical cords as well.
Yeah, it's been used in other spaces and places too.
Well,
exactly.
You know, a part of information. Can I say this?
Absolutely.
You know, they for me is as a nurse is education and prevention, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely is not about me being on a high horse. It's about prevention is the key, so that you're never in this situation and that you never have to face making such a difficult decision, because the residual effects of this decision is brutal. Is more than anybody can ever know. And each person that residual will affect them differently. So they're like, ahead of time that children cost money. It costs money to raise a family. So that's why if you learn prevention, so that you don't get in this situation until you can perhaps afford it, that is the better case scenario. You know, all the time, like, you know, as a nurse, we promote, go for your mammogram. Why? Because we don't want to find out you have cancer and then have to treat the cancer. So that's the same thing with the pregnancy. I'd rather teach you how to prevent it. I'd rather teach you about the birth control. I'd rather teach you about abstinence and saying no. And I'd rather teach you to tell that man, if you are going to engage and touch me, then you got to use protection. Turn on the lights. Let me unwrap the condom. I'm about prevention. So I'm never here to shame anybody. Listen, as a nurse, you do what you do. You make your decision. But I'm here to educate you on either way of the side of the coin, how your decision is going to impact you. We cannot change the community, build up the community, if we're not willing to talk to each other because we're afraid of bruising feelings. So if I got to bruise your feelings, then I'm going to be the one to bruise your feelings. But if I'm talking to a group of young girls, I'm going to say to them, fear is not how the world works. The way the world works is by education. So I'm not here to scare you, but a man, unfortunately, they can walk away at any given time. We cannot control another person, right? But let me just finish. We cannot control another. Let me just finish. We cannot control another person. The only person you can control is yourself. So I'm going to tell you as a young girl, protect yourself. If you are going to engage, and use some type of birth control. If you are going to engage, even if you're on birth control, because it's not just about the baby, it's about these STDs. That what happens is at the end of the day, if you get this HPV, you get other stuff, you get this gonorrhea, you get this stuff, it impacts the inside of your body and it can impact you for the rest of your life. And then also because when you go to these clinics, you don't know the sterile, you don't know the this, you don't know the that. So unfortunately, they're taking this baby out of you. They don't care how you do it, especially if you don't have the proper insurance. Don't let me go down the insurance road. I can tell you right now for a fact, when you call a doctor's office, what's the first thing they say to you? What insurance do you have? Do you know why? Because it matters. It's going to determine how they treat you, what they give you, and what they do for you. So usually when these ladies go to a clinic, it's the cheaper route also because they don't have that type of money to get the proper care. And unfortunately, real is real. They don't care, some of them. They do not care about you, your body, and who you are, or that baby in you that they're about to take out. They could care less. And so the impact of and then on top of it, it is a surgery. There is no guarantee anytime anybody gets a surgery that you're going to come out on the other side. So what I'm saying is that this is bigger than just, oh, the baby that I do not want any longer. It's about you also. And it's bigger than, oh, this man that's not staying in your life. Listen, a man could walk any given day. I don't think it's right. I think it's dead wrong.
Yeah.
But that's not where I'm going to put the focus. I got to rise that little girl up. Go ahead.
I understand, and I apologize. I understand. And if you took it that I was speaking to you directly about being on our high horses, I was not. I was talking about our government. What I'll say to what your response was is that's wonderful that you're talking to young women, but we seem to forget there's a lot of older women who have to go through this as well. And where do they go to get information? Like I said, in our communities, in our schools, we don't teach sexual education anymore. I was living in Arizona. They don't teach sexual education.
Yeah.
And Arizona has one of the highest rates of teen pregnancy in the country. I understand what you're saying about it's wrong that a man can walk away, but it's also wrong to put all of this on us. And that has been the problem. We have not put our foot down to say, look here, we can move anything. Individually, you may feel like, no, that point is mute, whatever. Like you said, it is bigger than that. It is time for us to have our own communities. We have our children in public schools. They're not being taught anything. You go to college, you go anywhere. It is still, where do we go as Black women to commune, to
Right.
assist each other. It is a village. It is necessary for a village to come together. Everybody's going to have an individual story, but together we can move that mark.
Right.
And
Chocolate, I
and
agree with. I just want to say this really quick. Sorry to interrupt you, Diva.
no,
I do
no,
agree with you. We do need to educate the young girls. I completely agree with you. I feel like, first of all, little girls are not little girls for long. They're growing up way too damn fast with the
exactly,
social media.
right,
I agree with you with that. But we need to educate our men. We cannot
exactly.
allow in our society for men to feel like it's okay if you don't want to be with a
That's
woman, do not be with
yes.
her. But you need
You
to be
listen, I'm not
responsible. Oh no, hold up,
I'm
hold up.
not
Let me
negating
Yeah.
that
No,
a
no, no, no,
man
no.
needs to be.
Diva, please.
No, I'm not
One
saying
I
mic,
that. I'm
one
not
apologize.
mic,
saying that.
one mic.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that in our society, I'm not putting this on you, Diva. I'm putting this on all of us. We need to hold up in our society that men need to be accountable financially and physically for their children, because there's a trauma the children face once they're here and their fathers or their mothers are not in their lives.
Exactly.
So we need to make it just, if for example, I'm just using an example. If abortion were to be illegal, men need to be just as much accountable as the woman. Because if I got to deal with it, you got to deal with it too. Because it took both of us to make this child. And that's on period. I do agree with you. We need to educate our children. It is okay to say no. You do not have to have sex with anybody or everybody. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I agree with you, Chocolate, as well, as far as like, it's up to you what you do with abortion. If you get it one time, if you get it multiple times, that is on you and your God and your spirit. That is your karma to, you know what I'm saying? That's your energy to carry. But for me, it just feels as if we all need to take responsibility and we all need to speak about it and educate both our males and our female
That
children.
is correct. And that is this is what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about just our young males. We got old dudes out here still popping babies and dipping.
Yep.
So it's like, one, you to Diva, you being a nurse, there should be the situation where we go, okay, Diva, we'd like to hire you to come into our schools and discuss blah, 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 blah. But guess what? We don't own schools. We don't have schools. We don't have our own Planned Parenthood. We don't have any of these things in place. I will speak to what I know. And what I know is this. When I started my life at this point is driven to create the opportunity for people to have fresh food in their neighborhoods, from the ground to your plate. And if you got EBT, you can pay for it. If you got cash, you can pay for it. And if we got to give it to you for free, we can pay for it. We have the power to change this dynamic. It was Black women who put Kamala Harris and Biden in office. Black women. So if we can do these things when we come together, then let's do that. Let's build our own. And that way no matter what the government does, we can protect each other. We don't have to agree. And to the point of the person who put up their chat, yes, you can have both things going on, many things going on in the same space. And at this point in time, it is not, I know we just go so extreme. We talk about the kids. Yes, we have to educate them, but we have to get educated. We have to stop looking at it as a societal pressure that we have to be these strong Black women and we got to take on the world. And then everybody in the world is against us. We fighting everybody. So the time comes. To me, it was just another wake up signal for me. Since 2018, I've been watching it. And my mother and I at the time, when she was living, we would discuss this in detail. And I would say, and I'm still saying, we have to build our own. We cannot wait and allow them to decide what we are going to do with our lives. Then you're not free. You're not free at any point.
Listen, hold on. I'm gonna agree with you. And I'm gonna let Diva then Nini's been waiting patiently, so we want to let Nini talk as well.
I'm done.
Hi,
I'm
Nini.
done. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you. No, you're fine. You're fine. This is the problem. When some of us, and I'm speaking from personal experience, I've said this many times before, when we come and we say, let's build, let's do this. We got all y'all in here, y'all wear y'all black Greek letters all day, every day, twice on Sunday, and y'all got this and all these things hanging up on the wall. And then they turn around and look at me and tell me that, oh, well, you must have voted a certain kind of way because you actually wanted to take self-responsibility and accountability. You don't want the government all in your business. You want us to do this for ourselves. Yeah, that's kind of how we were doing before. So why can't we do it now? Why are you still trying to work within a government, a system that don't want you? Okay. Now you might have to go there to get some things, but let's try to get it out. But I met with, no, thank you. I'm gonna continue to bat my head against the wall. So I agree. We got to be open though to the education across the board. Okay. All of us got to be open to it. Cause I'm with Diva. I feel like there is a personal responsibility though. Not that the men did not have responsibility to these children that they helped to create. Okay. But there was also personal responsibility I had to do what needed to be done on my end. Yes, I get it. I'm putting things that are cancerous into my body and what have you, so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. Maybe I got to go to the CVS and purchase on my own the latex. But at some point, I got to care enough about my body to be like, I don't care what you're saying to me. I got to care enough about me. That's all I'm trying to say. And yes, they're responsible. But I want us to take the ultimate responsibility and take our power back, because at the end of the day, they'll take it and they'll run with it and leave you to hold the bag. So if I have complete control and agency over my body, then I have complete control and agency in how you enter in and whether you do.
Come on
Go
now.
ahead, Diva, now. Come on now.
Come on now.
Right, come on, bring it out now. Bring it out.
Let me say this really quickly. Experts tell you it takes at least 30 days to 60 days to change a habit in yourself. You ever say, oh, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do this, and by Tuesday or Wednesday, you're done. So how do we ever expect to change somebody else? Change starts with you. So what I'm saying is, in your own household, you got to start, whoever you raising in your household, you start there. Now, I can't control my son, but my son is 16. And during the pandemic, he came in my room and he said, oh, I got a girlfriend. I said, no, you don't. You got a friend that's a girl. Because what we're not doing up in this household right here is we're not doing all this. You have sex and then this girl is pregnant. We're not doing that. You're going to go get your education. You're going to respect your body, and you're going to respect whatever girl you're with. So I'm training him the way I feel he should be brought up and the way I want to put him out in the world. I cannot impact everybody else. I can only impact what I have control of, me and what I'm raising in my household. And so what I'm saying is, when I speak to my nieces, when I speak to my nephews, when I speak to people that I have influence over, I tell them, look, yeah, there's a lot of things that's not going to be right in the world, but you can't control that right now. But what you can control is yourself. Respect yourself. And all I'm saying is, sometimes with our community, the reason why we can't come together is, I'm not saying anybody on this panel or in the chat, we get emotional. We put the emotions in it all the time. Like, why are you coming at me? What you trying to say? What you trying to do? Now, I worked in a rehab one time where the Jewish community was high in that rehab. Can I tell you how these people come together and they don't even know each other? They tell each other what bank to go to. They come and help each other when they're in the hospital. They bring food. They relieve the parent so that the parent can leave that hospital and go do what they need to do while they watch their child. So what I'm saying is, we as a community, the first thing is we got to learn how to trust each other. We got to learn how to get out of our bag of feelings. And we also got to learn that just because I'm saying you don't do it, don't do this, I don't think it's a good idea, doesn't mean that I hate you, dislike you, think you dead wrong. I'm trying to educate you so that when you raise yours up, you may say, maybe I did that, but I want to tell you the impact of what happened to me when I did it. And I hope that I can educate you so you won't have to ever be in this position. So that's all I'm saying. Yes, the right should always remain. And if people didn't hear me when I said it, when the conversation first happened, the right should remain. But what I want us to do is to not even have to ever exercise that right, because we are protecting ourselves and we're not even going to end up in that situation.
And to Jen,
Well, can 1 second. Actually, we're gonna let Nene speak, but my and then Chronicles, I'll come right back to you. But my
Okay.
granddaughter did want to say hello to everyone.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's cute.
Hello,
Hello.
sweetie.
She's
So
Hello.
adorable.
cute. Oh, hi, baby.
Oh, now you
Look at
want to
those
know what
curls,
everybody's doing.
girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say how about saying how are y'all tonight?
How
How are you tonight?
how are you tonight?
Aw.
You're just great, honey.
Wonderfully great.
Doing wonderfully, baby.
I'm doing good.
Adorable.
Good.
I love her curls. Look at her curls.
Yes, Lord. Curly girls unite.
Yes.
See?
Thank you.
Oh, that's
Aw.
good, baby. Thank you. Okay. Can you go sit? You want to go sit down over there for a little bit? Okay, babe. You probably shouldn't do it. It really is a grown folk conversation. But I'm gonna let you hang for a minute. Babe, I gotta stop cussing now. I'll let you know when she leaves. Um, why don't you get yourself some paper to color on, baby? There's crayons right there. Why don't you go over there and go over there by the printer on one of the shelves? There's some blank paper, or there might be one of y'all's coloring books.
Her
I'ma
can do it
just
all.
do a
She
I'ma
she
just
on
do it a
YouTube and
plug.
babysitting.
I
Huh?
got if she like to color, I got a coloring book coming out. It'll be on Amazon. I just want y'all to know. Okay, bye-bye.
All right now, come on now.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank y'all for indulging my grandbaby. She's almost 8. She'll be 8 years old in June. Um,
Wow.
Okay.
okay, Miss Nina, you have been so patient, beloved. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show, honey.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello to everyone on the panel, everyone in the chat. I want to chime in on several different points, only because just one, as a woman, and then two, as a professional lobbyist who actually lobby in my state on behalf of reproductive justice and reproductive rights. And I just feel like today has been like the busiest day ever because of the news that went on last night for us here. But I just want to highlight all the great points that's been going on, but then also kind of chime in on some of the things that we're saying, that there's a lot of women that in my personal organization, I can get into details later, but some of the things that are saying is why a lot of, I would say, women who are maybe like 35 and under feel so stigmatized and categorized when they want to express themselves when it comes to choice, because there seems to be a lot of judgment and stigma around like the choice that they're choosing for their body at that time. And feeling that our community is the community they cannot go to when they need support during that time for whatever is the reason that they're making that choice. And while my org, I used to be part of NARAL, and if everyone know, NARAL is not national, is not the best, and they a year or so ago they had this big deal with how racist they are. And my state organization, we disaffiliated from national and created our own entity because of that.
Amen.
Here I am the first. When we were in NARAL, I was the first Black woman to be in senior leadership in a 48-year history of this organization here. And the first thing I did in my first year was implement reproductive justice as a priority over reproductive rights. And so what we're seeing nationally is a bunch of feminist white women fighting for the rights to have abortions. Oftentimes, when you dig into why they fight so hard about it, is because they are well-to-do and high-paid or higher classed living white women who have husbands who cheat. So they're not, a lot of these like Republicans and the people who are saying they don't want abortion, they're not 100% against abortion. They just don't think poor people should have access to abortion. And so that is one level of it. And then the whole NARAL thing goes, if we ever want to have that discussion, I can talk about it. But other than that, when I came into my role, me and a few of my colleagues created a group around Black birthing justice to center how when we think about our reproductive rights and the justice that we need, it intersects many other areas of our life. We deal with racism in the medical area. We deal with not being heard when we are pregnant and wanting to start a family, and the barriers to communicate, us not feeling well. I know, Miss Diva, you said you're a nurse. I'm pretty sure you're well aware of those statistics, and that we have such a high mortality rate. And so I had to sit in front of a bunch of white women who wanted to give us hundreds of $1,000s to just push abortion in the Black community, to tell them it's not that our community is anti-choice. We just have a different prioritization list when we think about our reproductive organs. We want to, one, live when we're choosing to have our babies. And oftentimes, if we're having to choose to have an abortion, it's because we already have children. We usually are mothers, and something unfortunate may have happened, or we don't understand. It could be a domestic violence situation that has brought you to that choice, trying to leave. People don't take into account all the reasons why a lot of people in our community do make the choice to have an abortion. There's young girls who go into foster care and are dropped from the foster care list of caring because they've reached the age of reproductive 16, 17, 18. And in order to live, they go into sex work. They become pregnant. But in order for them to survive, they can't afford to be pregnant. And, whatever their reasons are, we have arranged marriages. We have all of these different things that come up. And in our birthing committee, we work with birth workers and doulas. And I was sharing with someone in the chat, we are trying to create a fund here in my state. We had a group of birth workers who are Black and Indigenous only, and we're coming up with a policy that we're going to push in 2023 that funds Black and Indigenous birth workers and doulas to be paid for in full with state insurance and access to birthing centers and or hospitals based off cultural appropriateness for Black and brown women. And like someone had said earlier, it's about being involved in state and local, because if we're not pushing these kind of policies locally that actually use the verbiage for Black and Indigenous or Black women, Black, however, and you're curating bills that are specifically for our community, then we're not going to be able to influence national policy. And it's sad because I forgot one of my points I wanted to make, but I don't know, it's just disheartening, because when I do get on these calls, especially with some of the organizations that are more white-led, for the last 24 hours, we're not being brought up as a priority and how we're talking about it. But then it's our community who's also shunning those who feel like this is an importance. Oh, the other point.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The states where where the policy will make it illegal to have an abortion, we have to really sit and think about what does that look like. Because if we have a young woman who may be miscarrying and they are in one of those states, they will be criminalized if a doctor so chooses to feel that they were self-administering an abortion, because there's no way you can determine the difference of a miscarriage and a self-administered abortion.
There's ways to determine that. I mean, there's things, we've known these things for years on what to take, how to take, what to do, how to do. So right. What I don't want us to do is start to put this fear that if I'm having a natural miscarriage because because this elective procedure is now, and I'm saying that just because I had grandbabies coloring,
right?
Elective procedure is made not legal by my state, that a DNC to handle what's going on quite naturally would then all of a sudden be criminalized. We cannot go to hyperbole, because that's not going to help us. And that's my only concern. Is like we tend to run to a hyperbole rather than saying, okay, wait, what's the logical here, right? Because
Yeah.
there's ways you can tell whether or not it's been
100%. 100%.
Well, I'm
and
not
I, and
talking
I
about
study biochemistry, and I know that. I'm not a medical doctor, so
I'm not
go
talking
ahead.
about someone who is experiencing it, who went through a surgery for it. I'm talking about someone who may have taken a pill
No, we're
and
following you. We're
okay.
following you.
But
But there's definitely ways you can tell, right? Just like just for example, like a coroner can go to somebody's house that maybe passed away in their house, and they can know, they could do a couple tests, and they'd be like, okay, this was natural, okay, now we're good to go, or this looks a little criminal. We gotta wait and get the police here and the tape and put stuff up. So there's way they can tell if something fishy went on.
Right, right.
Yeah. If it
I,
was happening naturally, or if you tried to induce it by doing something in your house, they can tell.
yeah, absolutely. I very much appreciate though, because we do not have enough of us and our voice there. And I feel like, again, because disproportionately, but percentage wise, we are disproportionately higher in numbers culturally, whether or not it's accepted or not. We are disproportionately higher in numbers in having that procedure for whatever reason. I'm not going to say like not whatever reason. We understand what I'm saying. We need to have an actual voice, because it is a sinister, to me, this is me, it was a sinister reason why it was even created in the first place and placed near our schools and in our neighborhoods
Oh,
disproportionately.
it was on purpose, Lisa. So that's what I'm sorry, heart of inspiration.
No,
Yeah, okay. So that's what the problem is. That's what I need everybody to understand. You know, there are rules and regulations on how close you can put certain stores together in every town. But if you go in the neighborhood, our neighborhood, you could probably bump into 3 to 4 liquor stores very easily. But if you go in other neighborhoods, you're gonna have to drive a moment
man, let
before
me
you
tell you.
bump into 3 to 4 liquor stores. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you, it's the same concept with this. And you know, there's some things that we just start to naturally accept. And then we start to say, well, don't judge, don't this, don't that. It's no judgment. What I want everybody to understand is they place and they do certain things for a reason to keep us where we're at and to continue the miseducation and the misunderstanding so that we can never rise up and be who we are meant to be. So
Right.
you got these liquor stores, so that causes a whole problem, right?
Yep.
Then you got all these fast food restaurants, and then that causes a whole problem, right? Then you got all of these clinics, and that causes a problem. So we usually, when we go in there, they don't give us no option. Why? Because they make all of these assumptions that your mama ain't gonna help you, your dad ain't gonna help you. You're probably just living with your mama that already has 3 kids, and you don't need to add another one to that situation. So this is your best option. But when others come through the door and are faced with that situation, they give them option A, option B, option C, and option D. It's no judgment, but they give them an array of options and say, and they steer them towards the option that is going to be the most friendly to their body. But for us, they say this is the option you should take because you are going to forever stay in poverty if you don't take that option. All I'm saying is that's not necessarily the truth. They sell us a bill of lies, and then we start to build our community off of these lies, and that's what keeps us in the space that we're in, because everything that they're saying is not necessarily true. May it be harder if you have this baby and then still go to try to go to college? Sure, it may be. But is it an impossibility? Absolutely not.
No.
Is it hard to raise this baby and the father is gone and has left you? 100%. It is difficult. Is that person wrong? Yeah. But is it a possibility that you can do this, still survive, still rise up and be everything that you want to be? Absolutely, you can. You know, my mother never married, 4 kids, right? My mother was on welfare. When the time when, I don't know if anybody knows this now, when you got a book of food stamps, they call it food stamps, and it was actually like this book in paper food stamps that you ripped off and all of that. My mother went through the system. She rose up. She got a job. My mother never stepped foot in a college, but she told us, y'all will definitely step foot in a college. My mother bought her home, and when she bought her home, she told all of us, you never have to leave my home until you save up the money and can buy your own home. That's where we will start to turn our situation around. When we ourselves realize that, you know what? They're selling us lies. They're telling us we can't. Some of these people, they get stuck on the system because they don't let these people know that you can do better. You can have more. They just show them how to keep coming back for fish rather teaching them how to fish. So all I'm saying is, I would love to see us say, you know what? I know what you came here for. Let me just tell you, here go your 4 options. Go home 24 hours and think about it. If you still want to do that option, that's fine. We're here for you. But just know there are some other options and you can still survive.
Yeah, and I want to add something
I
to that.
think
That we're gonna like.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna add something to that. That we need to. I was gonna go. We need to let Chronicle speak because he had something to say, and I do need to let my new guest Purple Couch, and then we'll go back around. But we're gonna close this out soon, y'all. We I don't know how soon. I don't know. I don't know if I'm prepared to do a conscious TV or not. So a panel, if ever you need to drop down, I have been running with conscious TV, and he be on for 4 hours. So now I'm used to it. So I ain't trying to keep.
Heart, would it be okay if I just answer what Diva said? Would it be okay if I answer that really quick?
It will be. Hold that 1 second though. I want to add something to this because I want you to understand something too. My youngest daughter, she's 29. She'll be 29 this year.
Oh, she's my age.
All her life, okay, she's had issues with her cycle, things of that nature. And I've known for a while now that potentially she has PCOS. There are other things that have happened. I can't remember, pylori something. She's had those kinds of tumors and things like that too. From the time she was 15 up until today. When I tell you there's not one a gynecologist here that we have found that will help her. So she's probably facing not being able to bear children. We could have dealt with this earlier. Why? Because they looked at her and then they looked at me and they was like, well, do you want her to get pregnant? Now that's reproductive justice right there. Who the hell are you to tell me whether or not do I want to do something or do I not want to do something? Because you're just assuming that my 16-year-old Black daughter is going to run out here, open her legs and get pregnant. Who are you? I'm not talking to you, baby. See, this way you don't need to be ear hustling over there.
I'm dead.
You're looking at me like, why you talking to me for like that? You trying to figure out who I'm talking about. No, TT's not. See, you need to go. TT's not getting pregnant. Okay. Neither TT is getting pregnant. Neither one. I'll explain that to you later. She asked me why. Child, I'll explain the why later, baby. But my point is that was how are you going to make that assessment? That's wrong.
That's
and
crazy.
So now she's 28, and there are multiple other issues that can happen to your body with long-term PCOS and going untreated.
Right.
But there is a discrimination that happens when she enters into that doctor's office. So basically her right to even potentially procreate has been severely damaged or potentially just ended because somebody made an arbitrary decision that we should that she has her whole life ahead of her, and she's incapable of doing what is necessary to not. Now go ahead, Miss Lola Lane.
What I wanted to mention was that I think it is like something that Diva said earlier, like instead of going to these clinics, you can go to OBGYN or GYN specifically. I understand that you can go to school and still have a baby. You're going to struggle, but you can do it. But in there lies the choice. I don't want to struggle. For example, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doing that. Like, I would not do that. And it's okay to choose not to go through that struggle. You can have a child later on when you're more stable in life, and you can financially, emotionally, and physically. Because let's be honest, if you in college and you're young, 9 out of 10, you immature as hell. So when you're emotionally, financially stable to have a child, you can do that. But there is a choice. You can be told that you can do that, and if you want to, you can. You're going to struggle, and it's good to know that ahead of time. But if you choose not to do so, you don't have to do that either.
No,
Because
but
I
do
know
what you
one for
need to
me,
do
I'm
to
being
not get in
completely
that position, then,
transparent. I ain't
baby.
doing that. I'm sorry.
But do what you need to do to not get in that position. Then that's my whole
Oh
thing.
no, I agree with you. I have a
Oh,
friend that got
okay,
pregnant on birth
okay,
control. I
okay.
got a friend who no. Listen, I have a friend that got pregnant on birth control. Because those
Yeah,
cases do happen. She got pregnant while using birth control. So then what
I
is she
did
supposed to
too.
do? Because she took every precaution she was supposed to. But
I
she
did
still
too.
she fertile myrtle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I did
So
too. But I mean, it happened. It happened. I made my choice. I made my choice. And I have a beautiful daughter now that's 32 years old, and she's living over in North Carolina now, and she's doing very well. But again, that was my choice. How,
right.
but it's interesting because I feel like I even had more of a right to make choice because I was actually trying not to. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Uh, Chronicles and then Purple Couch. I'm going to acknowledge. I'm trying to get around, and then we'll figure out after that. Chronicles.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back to the what was it? Oh yeah, the fact that men do not do what they do, what
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to do. That's not entirely true because I got a cousin down the street. He takes care of his family, and I train my mom raised me to take care of my responsibilities. And see, I decided I wanted. How do I put this? See, ever since my sperm donor, yeah, that's not important. He left my mom. That's what I would never become like him. So I did everything possible to learn about the very thing that men in my generation do not have: honor, loyalty, duty. The three values that make up a man. And oh, let's just say it was hard.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of trial and tribulation, but I finally got to a point where I understand now. Now, hypothetically, if I do have a girlfriend and I do bring her home, let's just say I'll do like Miss Diva here. She won't be my girlfriend. She'll just be my friend who's a girl. And I will respect her, her boundaries, everything.
Yeah.
And this is a big one. If she want, and I will not do anything that she doesn't want me to do, hmm, and vice versa.
There you
But
go.
what I'm trying to make is that it took me. I had my mom couldn't teach me. I had to learn on my own, and I learned that my for starters, my sperm donor, I call him dad. You know how much I hate him if you can't call him dad. Anyway,
Breathe. Good
anyway,
job.
thank you.
Wrap it
My
up, baby.
sorry, my sperm donor betrayed everything that I stand for today. He betrayed his family, his duty, his honor.
Hmm.
I will not betray mine. And for doing so, my sperm donor will die in dishonor. I will
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Amen.
Calm down.
Very good. Very good. Chronicles, my son is the same way. My son is the same way. Because his was not, his donor, as you say, was not in his life. That's my son. Baby, he was my son before you. You know, you gonna get on out of here.
The ear hustling.
So, but I'm talking. Will you just, since you gonna ear hustle, just hang on a second. But my son, her father chose to honor and to be a good dad, not like his dad. His dad was not a good dad, but really, your father, your daddy, is a really good daddy, and he loves you and Aria and Megan very much. Okay. No, I was not talking. I was not talking trash about your daddy, child. No, I was
She
not.
gonna go back and be like, Daddy, Grandpa said this about you on the YouTube street. I'm kidding.
Magic is headphones.
Come on with it now. What? No, you misunderstood what I was saying, baby. I was not talking about your father.
Magic is headphones because they can't really hear anything through those.
These kids are so smart. These kids are too smart. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, and she's like, you ain't gonna talk about my daddy. And like, I mean, she's
Right.
like,
She was like, Grandpa,
oh,
I got a check in front of your grandson.
you better not.
You were looking at a younger you for a minute, weren't you, Lisa?
Amen. I swear to God. I swear to God. She's the child I didn't have to work for at all. Someone else birthed her. She looked just like me. Just okay, baby. Just give me a few minutes. Purple couch. We're gonna bring you in on a conversation, and then we're gonna figure out who wants to stay and who wants to go. Because I know I'm wearing some of y'all East Coasters out.
I gotta go. So see you.
Okay, darling. We'll see you next time. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, baby.
Bye-bye.
Right. All right, Purple Couch. How are you, beloved?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well.
Good. Honestly, I had to kind of say a prayer and really, really think about coming up on the panel.
Oh.
I understand about definitely educating. I understand definitely about you respecting your body, but we cannot group everyone into that category. That situations occur where sometimes that's not in the stars, I guess I want to say.
Okay.
I believe I can't remember who it was on the panel that had shared their story. Which one was it?
There's a couple of us. I've shared a
Okay.
little bit of
Well, I'm
mine.
talking about as far as
Corey has
she's
shared hers.
the young lady who said that she was, I think, 19 and
16.
16. Okay, and you had an abortion.
Yes.
Okay, this is the first time that I am sharing my story publicly.
Me too.
And that's why I was hesitant, because even though we're saying there's no judgment, still I felt some type of undertone. That's why I was hesitant about coming on. But my situation, only child, older parents from the South, you don't talk about sex, you don't talk about birth control. I grew up believing whoever I marry is the one that I will lose my virginity to. Bottom line, no question. Met a young man in my church. Used to go to the church. People knew him. I remember his dad. He was like 5 years older than me. I'm 19. Really kind of naive and sheltered, because my father retired when I was in the 9th grade. So both of my parents was home. So I wasn't going to be sneaking around doing nothing. Okay. So I met him. I met him in church. I'm thinking, okay, this is good. Went over to his home where his sister was my age, and she did have a little girl. She was staying with him. So went to his home, didn't think that I would be or have any issues. put it like that. Because we're sitting on a couch. Sister and little niece is in the bedroom, still ear shy, you know, right
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
And he begins to do some things, and I say no. I have on a suit
Mhm.
because I'm coming from church to come over there.
Mhm.
I have on a suit. I say no. He continues to proceed. I didn't realize till later on that that is considered date aura,
Mhm.
but that is what happened to me.
Mhm.
19 years old, scared, don't know what to do. He's older than me. He said, I am going to set up everything once we found
Mhm.
out because, I'm not on any birth control. He's not
Mhm.
using anything because this was a forced thing.
Mhm.
I didn't even really know about birth control. Okay. So this happens to me.
Mhm.
Find out that I missed a period.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh my God, what? So I'm explaining this to him, and I'm still living home with my parents. But see, my father was in the military. He's always threatening people with guns, and I knew that I had said something to him that he was going to be in jail.
Mhm.
So I'm an only child, like I stated. The majority of my cousins and family is in a whole nother state. So I really
Mhm.
had no one to talk to, but I'm dealing with him on this issue. And he
Mhm.
tells me, I'm setting everything up, and this is what you're going to do.
Mm-mm-mm.
He sets it up, drops me off, does not stay, pays for it. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what to do. No, there was no consultation where someone said blah 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 because I don't know what he told the person. But the thing is, he paid. They took me wherever it happened, and yes, I'm like, really, I was in a fog for probably 2 3 years because now I'm thinking, well, all this has happened. He has to marry me because he took it. You know
Mm.
that did not happen.
Mhm.
He eventually went in and out of jail,
Mhm.
and other things occurred where finally, God saw fit that when he went in jail, I was able to break the spell, as I say. But the situation is there are many more like me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it is not that I did not respect myself, and I felt ashamed because I thought it was my fault.
Right.
So you really have no one to really talk to. Well, I felt I had no one because, like I said, I'm an only child. My parents are older, and if I would have told my father, he would have killed him. I know that
Mhm.
for certain. And then
Mhm.
I wouldn't have a father. He would have been in jail.
Mhm.
So we have to kind of walk real light when we talk about respect yourself and all these things because it's not a blanket. Everyone does not fit under that.
Right.
Now, because of my experience, I have worked with Crisis Pregnancy Center in the Washington, D.C. area. We have crisis pregnancy centers. I started working with them, really reaching out to the underserved young ladies. Definitely, me and another young lady, we started a support group. And because of my experience, I met them where they were. Yes, I explained these are your options. And then, of course, it is their choice. Now, because they came to the Crisis Pregnancy Center versus going straight to the clinic, some of them had better options. But I also understood that if they were frightened and afraid of the person who did whatever to them, then they may go with that. And I did not have any underlying judgment on them. I did not make them feel like they did not respect themselves or can respect themselves. So that's why I was very hesitant about coming up here because truthfully, that's what I was hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, beloved, can I let me just interject here.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I respect your courage and your transparency and your honor for sharing what happened to you with us. Honestly, I respect it deeply because it's not easy. And thank you for trusting this space or being willing to come up and at least say, you know what, I got to at least share this. Yeah. And I got to do this. And so thank you for at least being willing to trust us enough to know that, to at least hope that there wasn't going to be any judgment, right? To be able to give us another perspective.
Mhm.
When myself or Diva, so I think we're the only two that are saying this at the moment, but not the
Yeah.
only two, but when we say respect yourself and this, that, and the other, earlier in the conversation, because we've been on for 2 hours, we had already discussed, right, that there are exceptions to this situation, that there are always going to, as we're discussing the ins and outs and the nuances, that definitely is a situation you were violated twice. Well, multiple times, but at least twice, right? You were violated the first time, and then you weren't even given a choice the second time. You were simply told, forced, and whatnot, and you were between a rock and hell,
Mm-hmm.
not even a
Mhm.
hard place, right? That is something that is reprehensible. That is something where this needs to be in place so that you can do these things by your choice safely. And I appreciate that you're dealing with women that are in crisis and having crisis pregnancies, because you're right, we don't have anywhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
Even, let me tell you something, I have siblings, I have family, I have aunties. There's still no one to talk to necessarily about that, unfortunately, for a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's no judgment, no shame, no anything. Sometimes what happen, not geared towards you or anyone else. In your specific case, and in anybody's case here that's listening to me on the replay or right now, I want you to understand that sometimes what ends up happening is, we hear a thing, it triggers, and what happens to us is, and I'm not putting this on you, I'm just saying it kind of lets us know there's a little bit more healing, because there's times I hear things, especially about DV,
Mm-hmm.
having grown up in a household where there was rampant DV and
Mm-hmm.
rage and whatnot, and then other types of abuse going on in the house, physical, emotional, and verbal. And so I hear some things or I watch it, and it hits me, and then I realize, right? So we're not judging you at all,
Mm-hmm.
at all. There is no judgment, because you respected yourself. Someone else did not, right? This was not something you chose. This was not in the game plan here
Mm-hmm.
at all. And for any woman that's going through that, even if you're married and you don't want, you know what I'm saying? These things can happen in a committed married situation,
Mhm.
Correct.
you
Correct.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So even if that is the case, if this is forced upon you, okay, we're not talking to you about that. We're not
Mm-hmm.
saying there is no judgment. You do what needs to be done. Okay. You do what needs to be done. And I applaud you and I thank you for working with women, young women, older women, whomever, that are in
Mhm.
these situations, in these crisis pregnancies, because we need more of us, more
Yes,
of
that's
you.
true. And the
We,
thing is, it wasn't a Planned Parenthood clinic. It was a very upscale. I think I was me and one other spot was in there.
Mhm.
He knew about this place because I'm certain that he probably had taken someone there previously. But
Yeah.
definitely, um, like I said, dealing with the other young ladies, especially in the underserved populations, you know, um, I let them know because even some of them, it's a pattern, it's a generational thing. And
Yeah.
then, some of them are saying, I don't want, some of them are even saying, I don't want to have 3, 4, 5 kids by such and such number of dads. And again, we talk to them about their options. And whatever they come back with, they feel safe to say,
But
this is my decision.
beloved, if they're having, okay, that's a different situation. I'm not denigrating nobody. Okay. But that's a different situation. Why are you having unprotected sex with that many partners
Right.
where
What's
this is a
what
possibility?
we can say that, but some of them, that's what I'm saying to you, is that some of them, that's what they know. A
That's
lot of
where
them
we
that
have to come in and teach them better then.
exactly, but when they get to the point where they're coming to the crisis pregnancy center, that's not something they were taught. They're only going by what they have seen surrounding them in their community. This is what we do. We lay down with this boy. This boy say he loves us, or blah blah blah, and we lay down with them, and then this happens. And I mean, uh, you all served in the underserved community and
Oh, right
understand their
here, right
mindset?
here.
Yeah,
I
Okay,
have.
well,
absolutely,
well,
I
sis.
have.
the,
At some
Absolutely.
point, can I say something really quick?
Go
At
ahead.
some
Yes,
point,
ma'am.
at some point we gotta break generational curses. So
exactly.
I grew up dirt poor, dirt poor. I don't know if you heard when I said, like, my mother literally back then had those paper food stamps. So I know the community, I know the area, and I know what we go through. And that's why I don't know if you heard what I said. Education is key to everything. When you educate yourself, you can do better. Now when I was growing up in school, now I'm a woman of a certain age here. When I was growing up in school, we did have sex education, we had cooking class, we had sewing class. I had all of that. They don't even do all of that, and everything is taken out of the schools now. You can barely say or do anything. So I'm saying there are going to be
Hmm.
plenty of children from every course of life that they're not being educated in a home about certain things for different
Definitely.
reasons. So that's why I'm saying education is key. We need to bring this education back into school. Now, my son, but I had to sign for it. My son, they did do a education class. And when he came home, I said, well, what did y'all talk about? What did they say? And then I said, okay, and I added some things to it. So what you're saying is, I always meet people where they're at, but I can't leave them where they're at.
No,
I
no,
got to help
okay.
them rise up.
Okay, diva,
I
diva,
gotta help them rise up. So
diva.
let me just finish this. So when a girl comes to me the first time, I understand, I get it. You didn't know, but before you leave me, I gotta bring you to the know. I gotta help you know and understand that although what you're surrounded by, you can be in the jungle, but you don't have to be one of the people in the jungle. If
That's
you
what I'm
understand what
saying.
I'm trying to say.
Yes,
So
but that's what I'm saying. When they come to the crisis pregnancy center, they are already there. We've already done the pregnancy test. They're pregnant. What I'm saying to you is we're going to educate them so they won't come back to this again. But at the point where they are coming to us, this is the education that they have, is the community they've been around. And then we educate them
Hmm.
so you don't come back. That's why we did a
but
support
I
group.
thought I heard you say something about they don't want to be having
They
four
don't
and
want to
five daddies
be
and five
right.
kids and all of that.
They're saying they don't want to be like their mother, or the most of the ones that's come. They see that
Okay.
there's four. These girls are having 4 and 5 baby daddies. They don't want to be that. The
Okay,
majority
I
of the ones
got
that
you.
I'm seeing. I'm not saying that's what they are. The majority of the ones
Yeah.
that I'm seeing.
Okay, I
They're
misunderstood.
saying,
Okay.
right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to educate because we don't want them to come back to this
Right.
situation or this decision. So
Right.
no, I educate. Yeah. So, but I'm saying for
Yeah,
them being
if
in
y'all
the
crisis center, I can't see y'all not educating them. You know what I'm
exactly,
saying? I think
that
that's
is
a
key. And
given that y'all are educating.
right. And the thing is, that's why me and another young lady, because the crisis pregnancy center, it served everyone,
Yeah.
different races, okay? But we started seeing that a lot of us was coming in, and we decided to do a support group in addition to just saying, okay, you have made your decision, but now we have a support group. So whichever way you're coming, because they were also connected to an adoption. This crisis pregnancy center was connected to a church and adoption agency. All these things, they had all these options. So whatever option they chose, we did the support, the support group, so that we can even help them navigate further. So
Yeah.
if you did do this, decide to terminate, or if you did decide to go through and have an adoption, or if you did decide to keep, here's the support group so we can now support you further in
That's
whatever
right.
Well,
decision you
speaking
make.
from the purple couch, do you understand we're saying the same thing? If you heard everything that I said, I said nothing different. The only thing that might have kind of hit people a little bit in the gut, but I think we do need to understand this as women, is that we don't just have to freely, and I'm not saying you personally, we don't have to freely just give. Our body is our precious, it's our jewel, it's our gift from God. We don't have to let nobody touch us. But if we do decide to let somebody touch us, and I'm not talking about your situation, right? I'm talking about when we're in a relationship with a guy, whatever the case may be. If you're going to let them touch you, then you turn on the lights. I tell people, turn on the lights before you turn them off.
Mm-hmm.
When you get undressed with me, I want to see you, and the light I'm going to inspect, because it's not just about pregnancy either. I mentioned earlier, it's these STDs that are taking
Definitely.
women down. So
Right.
I'm going to look it all over.
Yep.
And then
Not
I'm
just
going
look
to
it
be the
over.
one. Your
Have your
body is your
own.
temple. Thank you for whoever said that. That's what I was trying to say. Your body is your temple. I'm
Right.
going to be the one to bust open that condom.
That's what I was
I'm
about to
going,
say.
because I got to protect self. I got to
Mm-hmm.
care about self. So
Right.
that's what I was saying.
Right. Definitely. And that's what we also do. We
I don't
we
think anybody's disagreeing with that. We all know by now that you're supposed to take care of yourself and be responsible as far as taking the right precautions birth control wise, and also not
right.
only just to
But
prevent
everybody
pregnancy, but
doesn't,
also
Lola.
to prevent hold on a second, to prevent diseases as well. And I understand that, but you can't help to not know what you don't know, if you get what I'm saying. This is why we need to start these chats, and we need to speak more openly like we're doing
Mm-hmm.
now, to educate those people, because we all got a cell phone. We can all go on YouTube to hear about the Real Housewives and everything else. Well, just like that, we can go on there and educate ourselves as well. So
Right.
to me, it's like we need to start donating money, especially those of us who are very passionate about knowledge. We need to donate to crisis centers like this so they can outreach to more people and educate more people. And I forgot who said it earlier. I think it was Chocolate Earth. She was talking about they need to start doing that. Bring in a nurse to school to talk about the importance. Show how to put on a condom on a banana. I remember that being a thing.
They
I
Yeah.
have
went to
nurses
It
in
sure
every
was.
school. There's
they need,
nurses in every school. And
but
but
that's what.
the
But
thing
are
the
they
thing
there
is
to
now the
show?
laws
But
the
my
laws
thing is, are
prevent
they
them
there
from
to
doing
sign a
certain
sheet?
things.
Are they there to sign a sheet because you got a tummy ache and your mom to pick you up, or are they there
No,
to do this
Mm-hmm.
specifically? Because
no,
they need to
it's not
start
that
doing this
easy.
specifically.
Yeah. Well,
They need to
they
start educating kids.
in this area they kind of taken out the nurses out of the schools. At
Yeah.
one point they had one nurse that was traveling to 10 schools, so they kind of like taking it out. But see, also, I have a nonprofit, Women of Virtue, and we also focus on health disparities within our community. And another thing that we started doing was having health fairs in the underserved populations in their communities, and actually talking about this as well. And we were actually given condoms by the city that we could
Right.
pass out as well. So I'm all about education, to the point that I even went a step further and started riding with this other organization called HIPS, where it's helping individual prostitutes survive, where we
Mm.
was
Mm.
actually giving them
Okay.
condoms. We would ride from 10 p.m. up until 3 and 4 in the morning to hand
Mhm.
out condoms to help them lessen STDs
Stay
and things
safe.
of that nature. And
Right.
That's real
actually, we
cool. That's
we
real
gave
cool
them
that y'all do
candy
that.
too to keep them alert. So, you know, I delved deep into trying to educate and also trying to give resources, because that's another thing. Sometimes people just don't know where to go and
Right.
what are the
Right.
resources available to them.
You,
So, yeah.
and another thing I know, Chocolate Earth, I don't know if you're still here, baby, but I know who she's big on.
I'm here
Hey,
because
sweetie.
I'm holding my breath. I'm here.
Okay,
Hey.
we're gonna let you speak, and then we might need to let Diva go though. It's late. But I know that you're big on it. We need to be doing this, and so when I hear, well, the schools this, the schools that, I really very strongly feel that we need to be doing that because we got to stop looking to the school system to do our job of the
Some people need
village.
help though, heart of inspiration, right? So when the person doesn't have that resource at home, they need it somewhere. But the thing is with the schools, it's also about funding, but it's also because of legal reasons. It's but so much they can do. So
Right.
now to educate your child in school on this sex education, you got to get a consent.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a
We
consent.
had
Right.
to when I was going through it.
Exactly. Me
Everybody's
too.
sensitive now. Everybody delicate now. All of a
Yeah,
sudden,
Right.
everybody's
I,
very delicate
Yeah,
and
I
but
should have
sensitive now.
listen. I went to Catholic school and they showed us, and she had a full on bush. I'm just trying to be a little funny right now. And they made us watch a live birth, y'all, a live birth.
Oof.
But what I did not appreciate is that you showed me the birth, but how did we get there? What
Mm-hmm.
happened in the
Yeah.
nine months
Mhm.
before for us to get to her? Having her legs on the stirrups, giving birth right now, screaming her head off.
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a part
mm-mm.
of science. It's
Yeah.
biology. Come on,
It
y'all.
is.
Like
It's
it should
Yes.
be
that
taught.
Yeah.
school
And
that
the
probably would
problem,
have kept people from having children.
Yeah.
It had kept me from having a kid. I'm tell you that. But
Uh,
okay. I have somebody in the background, guys. We're gonna be wrapping this up. I'm so sorry. We'll have this another time. I want to let Chocolate Earth speak, and then I want to let us kind of like we're gonna bring this. We're gonna wrap this up because we've been
okay.
on. Go ahead, Chocolate Earth.
Whew, Lord, I felt my mama inside for a
Girl,
moment.
you gotta jump in. Like you gotta get in,
You know
baby.
what? You know what? It's fine. I don't mind waiting. I don't, because then I'm listening, engaging what everyone is saying.
Hmm.
So I don't mind that. And so, but I'm gonna keep it quick. I promise.
That's true.
First, Purple Couch.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you that I completely understand what you went through. I did not have a pregnancy, but I went through that situation as well, like a lot of young Black girls do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to, but I know I probably will offend. I know we all have our personal things that we go through. But just like when Purple Couch's story makes me think of pretty much all of my friends in high school, especially in the 90s. I'm a Gen X baby, you know,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and we came up like feral cats. You know what I mean? So we was out here being grown because our parents, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened. But long story short is this: I'm ready to put myself in the position to assist. You guys were talking about education. Well, guess what? We got the internet. Just like we find each other here, there should be something that a young girl could text a number, and if she need to talk to somebody about this, if she needs, because all the time you can't go somewhere and
Right.
there's still the Rona. So it's like things is iffy. So
Mm-hmm.
the best way to reach us now is through our phones, through the computer, and bombard it. Make something available no matter what we talk about up here. The thing is, we don't have a school that we are in control of. We don't have a system
Mm-hmm.
that we are in control of, and we are so afraid to step out and be the one. I'm not. I'm here. I'm ready, because I've
Mm-hmm.
watched so many women and girls go through this. And then again, here we are as women trying to figure out a way to assist other women, which should be anyway, but it has to be broader. We got to bring it out of the personal And you need emotion. You need passion. But it's where it's going. My thing is this. Let us get together and have something. Have a community. We can do all of it online. Let's be real. It don't cost nothing to start a website. It don't cost that much to be able to text information out. And you don't have to worry about it if your child want to sign up or not. Some kids can't even talk to their parents about sex. And we need to educate the parents. How can a girl go, I'm going to go to the nurse if I don't even know that's available? But to the point, it's generational. The curse is going to break when we stop thinking in a, what do you want to say, on a smaller level. Just like we got to deal with the city and the state, and then we go to the country, we got to do the same thing. We got to start our communities. That is, and I'm not just saying this to say it or just be on a panel. This is the work that I'm trying to do. I am trying to build something that people, we don't, how to eat. When I get to that place and the creator with me, the whole goal is no matter where you are, no matter what's going on, you can reach out to Chocolate Earth and we will assist you in any kind of way possible. I got to start with the food first. But we have so many social issues within our community that we negate. And if we want these girls to love themselves, or we want them to be able to say no, a lot of women say no. And a lot of children are still coming here. So it's like, yes, we are going to have to generalize so we can reach out to enough people, because just like this conversation with you ladies, I'm going to take that and I'm gonna be like, okay, how can I be a part of something to assist? So I just want to end that and wrap it up by saying, I appreciate everybody on this panel. I appreciate Heart having it. I appreciate the conversation. I don't have a lot of my female group has dwindled over the years, but just to be able to have this conversation with other like-minded Black women generationally, it is so important, and I hope we continue to do it. But I also am down to do whatever to make that change. So I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, Chocolate
Thank
Earth.
you,
It was a
Earth.
pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so. Oh, am I muted? Okay, I'm not. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know what? I always love doing this. I don't do this enough. Well, maybe I'm starting to do it more, but I love doing this, and I really hope that as these chats grow, and this grows, that we can begin to have a whole lot of us here talking about these issues, because it is very important. It's very important to me, and that we can have this and all be grown.
Yes.
All be grown, and all be intelligent, and all be, that's what I love. And we come with solutions. We're not coming here, just with all that. We're coming from different perspectives at different stages in our lives and having had different experiences, but we're all coming together for the one common goal of raising our collective, right? Raising our collective consciousness, raising the collective overall. And I so appreciate y'all. Y'all are some amazing women.
I'm gonna jump in and say one thing real quick. To your point, seeing your granddaughter, I have, like I was saying before, I got 3 nephews in this world that I want to leave something behind for them. And I know as a community, we've lost that because the unification ain't there, because somebody always saying what it ain't gonna be. We have to stop. Or it is not going to change. It's not going to change for us. And I seriously am like, wake up every day like I gotta get it popping. Because I don't want to sit around and look and listen to what is changing, and it affects us so much. It affects us so much. So I'm done. Sorry.
And I just would like to say, like I stated, I have a nonprofit, Women of Virtue Incorporated, and under that, banner, we also have what we call the rosebuds, and we also have the young ladies of virtue. And there we also teach, educate, encourage, help to build confidence. They go through what we call a rites of passage. They go through a workbook and talk about how to build confidence, who they are, respect themselves. And we have a coronation at the end, and they get their sash and their little crowns.
Aww.
And so that's
That's
some of the
beautiful.
things that we do that I've done outside, with my nonprofit. And I have rejected some grants because some grants limit you in what you can say and share.
There you go.
So a lot of things have been
Mm,
done through donations and just out of my own pocket through my nonprofit.
right.
So
Please
I
send me
just
your email. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah,
say.
we're gonna.
okay. Who was that? Oh,
That's
Chocolate
the
Earth.
Chocolate Earth.
Purple Couch.
Okay.
Yeah,
My email.
we're gonna get everybody's like information. I want to be sure you guys get that. I have you all. Some of y'all know that I train up spiritual coaches and healers and shamans and all that kind of great stuff. And I
Mm,
have a young woman that graduated from the program like about 3-4 months ago, and this is her specific. I was trying to reach her, but she was unreachable. This is her specific area. She wants to help women that have gone through miscarriage, that have gone through
oh,
stillbirth, but her main group that she wants to help is those that have had abortions,
Mhm.
right.
That's great.
because that's the
That's really
like as we've all said, that's an unspoken like you
Mhm.
don't dare talk about it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do talk about it and you're having feeling some type of way about it, well, too bad, so sad, that's on you.
Yeah.
And so that was her. So I'm going to definitely get that out into the community. This is not going to be the last time we're going to talk about women's issues.
yes,
Definitely,
ma'am.
most definitely not. I'm putting everybody's your channels in the chat as we speak. I've got Purple Couch at Chocolate Earth. I'm putting Diva, and then we're gonna put our Lola Lane, which is Corey and Lola together. Can we Purple Couch, and I'm gonna go around. Purple Couch, can you just let everybody know where to find you, please? Because I've
Okay.
enjoyed y'all. This has just been
Us
amazing.
kind of like several places, but uh, um, I guess you can Google. Well, I'll try to put my nonprofit website in there, but I also have Say Seals, and then of course speaking from the Purple Couch YouTube. But I also have Say Seals biz,
Okay.
which is one of them, and then my website is, let me see, Woe Virtue Inc. at.
If you put it in the private chat, Purple Couch, I can drop it.
Okay, let me
Okay.
the
Put it in
private
the
chat.
private
Let me
chat, and
go
then I
in the
can drop it
private
in the
chat.
chat, in the
Okay,
main chat.
okay, and I'll put my email. Now don't laugh. The email I'm putting in here is the AOL because it's the shortest. It's the shortest, and they still
Dang.
they ain't knocked me out, so I'm still with it. My Gmail is so long, and my nonprofit one is kind of long too.
Yeah,
So
you gonna stop. We gonna help you out. Oh.
oh
Oh.
God, yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we're gonna go on, and let's Purple Couch, I got that. Thank you again. And please do come back. I'll notify you when we go on again.
please do.
Choc Thank you so much. Chocolate Earth, beloved. I've
Yes,
got your
ma'am.
out there. Can you tell the folks where to find you and so that they can help as well?
Oh, that would, hey, I'll take it all. You can check out me, go to my YouTube page. I have my videos and things up there, Chocolate Earth Foundation. And you pull it up, that's me. Talks about what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to create. And I would love whoever wants to be a part of it, be a part of it. No matter, doesn't have to be money. You could anything to assist us in getting to our goals. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much, dear. My dear sister, Diva. Hey, hey, hey.
You can
You look,
find me at Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva on YouTube. I guess I'll just give that. And
Okay.
and you know what? I'll text you because I'm technical difficulties girl. So I'll text you all my other stuff so you can get my email and all that. I'll text
Okay.
it to you. But I
Okay.
appreciate this conversation. It needed to be had, and I also appreciate. Listen, we all have our own different perspectives on it, and it's always great to hear several sides of a situation. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you as well.
And to the ladies that texted me earlier today, they are the reason why we're doing this because I got a text from Corey and said, "Hey, we want to talk about this." And I was like, "Well, I want to talk about it too." So we figured out how to get it done. So to the two ladies of Lola Lane, whichever one of you wishes to go first, please feel free because I'm putting all of your contact information into the chat right now.
Okay.
Corey, did you want to
Well,
go first, or
yeah,
you
let
go
me
first?
go real quick. Just real quick. I only have the one thing. You can reach me at Corri Burman 1 on Instagram. I am a DM away for anybody who needs someone to talk to, needs some advice, either on this subject or parents of autistic children.
That's a whole conversation we need to have.
That
Yes,
is.
it is.
Man, is that a conversation we need to have. Thank you so very much. And Miss Lola Lane.
I initially had texted Corey earlier talking about what this decision and what had happened. And I was like, I would love for Heart and Inspiration to be involved in our conversation if we were to go on YouTube, because I feel like there's a spiritual side of everything, right? And especially when you're going through heavy conversations and stuff like that, it's always good to understand the spiritual side of things as well. Not everything is just cerebral. You understand what I'm saying? There's more to this world than what you see. You feel me? I'm very much
Absolutely.
I'm very much into that, and it's been absolutely amazing. I love talking to y'all. Whether we agree to disagree. Everyone's amazing. Everyone's respectful. Everyone has something great to add to the conversation, and it's been a blast. And please do come check out our channel. I mean, we act up on it, but we would also like to have you, Heart, on the channel as well. You
Yes.
know, we would like to talk about other things. It's actually something I wanted to talk to you about after the show that I think would be a cool idea for
We
us to
can
do
chat.
together.
Awesome. That sounds good. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you all. Those of you that were here before, those of you on the replay gang, those of you that hung in with us the whole time. I just appreciate you all for the support. If you found anything helpful, not helpful, it pissed you off, or it made you cry, share this video because I want more of us to hear that we are having intelligent conversation. Okay. And I want more of us to know that we can have a conversation, disagree, maybe raise a voice or two, but guess what? We all still love each other because that's how we kind of
That's
talk to
right.
each other. It ain't no thing but a chicken wing. We
That's
just
right.
passionate. We ain't
Amen.
angry.
Amen.
Right.
We just passionate. So
We just some loud colored women. That's all it is. We some loud
listen.
women.
Listen, I'm going to say this is an old thing. My mom used to say the lighter the woman, especially a black woman, the angrier she is. Because, that's what my mom, that's what my mom would say about me because I'm so passionate. And she used to say, because she used to tell me, she was like, okay, well, I need you not to be angry, Angela Davis. Can we just go through it?
Not
So,
Angela Davis.
yes, honey. I'm an angry elf. All right. I love y'all. Thank you.
I love you too. So I want to thank y'all. Thank you again so very much. I'm so honored with y'all. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna probably hit some of y'all up for some kind of a real quick Mother's Day, maybe just a little, a snippet to go on the Mother's Day podcast. Because I want to honor us.
Okay.
I want to honor us. So be on the lookout.
Yes.
All
I
right,
do want to
gang.
ask one more thing. If you all can just say a little prayer for me. Tomorrow is my mother's transition anniversary, and so um, it's it's
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got you.
We understand.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
we
gonna
will
cover you
pray
with
for
some
you.
love and some light right now,
I
sis.
do.
Okay?
I
Yes,
understand.
ma'am.
Thank you.
All
Gotcha.
the healing, all the good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
dear.
thank you for
Love you.
sharing your story. You're very brave for doing that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
It's
All
black
right,
girl
then.
magic.
Yeah.
Black girl
Yes.
magic now.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, since 7 years later, he came back and apologized.
Well, God
Wow.
bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah, I don't want to even keep going on because we be on here to
I
midnight
know.
and I
Yeah,
would,
and you
but
know,
you know what though? I honestly gotta say God bless him because something must have touched him to realize
Yeah.
like, listen, I wronged you, and he's trying to
Yes.
make atonement there.
Yes.
Oh wow,
I
that's
believe
a
that.
story right there in and of itself.
Yeah.
God bless him, and
that's
God
good.
bless you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bless you
We
all.
love you.
All right.
Love you too.
Thank
All
you,
right.
ladies. This was amazing.
Thank you,
And
ladies.
yeah.
Thank you,
Night, Eva.
everyone.
Good night.
All
Good
right,
night.
everyone.
Good night.
night,
Good night.
guys. We'll
Stay
see you
blessed, y'all.
soon.
All right.
You
All
too.
right. Take care.
Love and light. Wow, this was so